Hello everyone, this video is about the concept of angles and adjacent angles on a straight line. In our daily lives, we can see a lot of angles. Angles are formed by two arms, and the point where these two arms intersect is called the vertex, and this area between the arms is the angle. Back in primary, we learned various terms about angles. Let us revise them. For example, the acute angle. This angle must be less than 90 degrees. This angle, you can see a small square at the vertex. This angle is called a right angle, and its angle is always 90 degrees. A bigger angle is called an obtuse angle. Bigger meaning its angle is more than 90 degrees but less than 180 degrees. Sometimes we would use these three terms as adjectives. For example, in these triangles, the one on the left, all of these three angles are less than 90 degrees. Therefore, we call it an acute angle triangle. For the one in the middle, there exists one right angle. Therefore, we call it a right angle triangle. On the right, obtuse angle triangle because of its obtuse angle inside of the triangle. Other than these three angles, there are some other angles that are special as well. For example, this one is called a straight angle. Straight meaning there is a straight line as seen in red. Since it is straight, it is exactly 180 degrees. We call this angle a reflex angle. The size of this angle is more than 180 degrees but less than 360 degrees. This last angle is actually two lines exactly on top of each other, and this angle looks like a circle. It is exactly 360 degrees, and we call this angle a round angle. We have just learned about various terms about angles. But what if we want to specify a specific angle on a graph? For example, on this graph. If I want to call out this colored angle, we can simply call it X. We can also call it by another name. We can see that this angle goes from A, then to B, then down to C. So we can call this angle A, B, C. Just using the vertex, we can also call it angle B. If we want to mention an angle outside, we can use any letter that we want. It doesn't have to be English, so we could use the Greek letter alpha. We can call this angle alpha, or to show that it's the outer angle, we can call it reflex angle A, B, C. Look at this figure. How many angles are in this figure? There are actually many angles. In fact, there are more than 3 angles here. Because there are so many angles, we need to be very careful when naming these angles. For example, this blue angle, we call it angle A, B, C. This orange angle, we call it angle A, B, D. And also some other angles, for example, this green angle, it's from C all the way to B, then to D. So we call it angle D, B, C. Well, the order doesn't really matter. And for this red outer angle, we can call it reflex angle D, B, C. As you can see, in this simple figure, there are many angles. Therefore, we need to be very careful when naming all of these angles. And we cannot simply just name it angle B, because angle B actually can mean many different angles. Since we don't specify from which arm this angle came from, people can get confused on what angle you're talking about. We have just mentioned various terms about angles. In the following, we'll learn about calculations about the straight angle. As we know, since it is straight, it is 180 degrees. Using this knowledge, we can very easily find out what is the value of x. These three angles together form one straight line. Therefore, 62 plus x plus 32 degrees equals to 180 degrees. Simply writing out this equation is not enough. This is because we have used the properties of a straight line. Therefore, we have to write out the reason adjacent angles on a straight line. Now we can solve the equation. We put all of the like terms on the right side, and then we calculated x equals to 84 degrees. Here's another question. In this question, we also need to find x. In this question, we can see many different angles, but not all of the angles are labeled. However, on these angles, you can see two lines. Whenever you see two lines, this means all the angles that have two lines are the same in magnitude. Therefore, all of these angles are x. And now we try to write out the equation. On this straight line POQ, all of the angles added up together equals to 180 degrees. Remember that writing out this equation is not enough. We must write out the reason, adjacent angles on a straight line. Now, we first calculate all of the like terms. X plus x equals to 3x. And then we move the numbers to the right side. We calculate it. 3x equals to 78. We divide the 3 to the right side. We get x equals 26 degrees. That's the end of today's video. If you have any questions, please ask your math teachers. Goodbye.